Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, Gun Breakdown, a beginner's guide. I'm Jonathan, and today we're going over the Beretta series. Specifically, we're going to be talking about how to break down and clean your Beretta 92FS. All right, let's get right into it. So first things first, I want to make sure that our weapon is on safe, which it is now. And we're going to point this weapon in a safe direction. And we're going to make sure we have no ammunition nearby or inside of our firearm. So that is clear. Now we're going to rack this to the rear. And we're going to do a physical and visual inspection of the chamber. So I can see that it's clear. I feel that it's clear. So now we are good to go. All right, so we can actually keep our slide lock to the rear. And we're going to go ahead and get our slide lock lever. We're going to go ahead and release that. So push this button here on this side, just like that. And you see how it raises it up, just like that. So push that button in, flip this down 90 degrees. Okay. And now that that's done, we can go ahead and release our slide by taking that off. And if you want to just field strip the pistol, that's fine. You can take apart your guide rod and spring and the barrel, and that's totally fine. Now, if you want to take your lever off as well and clean that, it's super easy, and I'll show you how to do that really fast. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to flip this, and we're going to take this out just like that. Okay, we're going to set this to the side so we don't want to lose that. And then now when we let go of this button, when we depress this, you're going to see a spring come out as well that this sits into. This spring is exceptionally tiny. So it is very difficult to lose and keep track of. So make sure that you're keeping it in a safe place, somewhere visible like this, like here on this mat. So we're going to keep these pieces together. And we're going to go ahead and spray that with some solvent. Okay. And then now we're going to go ahead and continue our breakdown. We're going to remove our guide rod and spring. Make sure you keep good pressure on this because in my last video, I sent the guide rod flying across the room. So make sure you keep pressure on that. Really, you're going to pull that out. And you're going to take your guide rod and take it out from inside of your spring. And we're going to go ahead and set that right beside of our other pieces. And we're going to go ahead and spray this down with solvent as well. Okay. And now that that's done, we can go ahead and remove our barrel. Okay. And so I do have a threaded barrel, but I have not shot this weapon suppressed, so I am just going to leave that piece alone. If you want to clean yours, all you have to do is unthread it and then spray it in there, spray your solvent in there or your CLP, take a brush to it, and put just a small amount of oil, a very, very thin amount of oil on that, and then thread it back. Okay. And now that that's done, we're going to go ahead and remove this piece as well. And we're going to spray this down with some solvent. I'm going to set that to the side. And same thing for the barrel. We're going to go ahead and spray this with some solvent as well. So this weapon is exceptionally dirty. So I will say I am not going to be able to clean it on my first pass through, but I am going to show you guys what to do. So you can repeat the process until your firearm is clean. Next is going to be our slide. And we're going to go ahead and spray the inside in here and the grooves as well. And even the outside a little bit because it's got a little bit of carbon left over from just from dirty hands touching it. So let's go ahead and get right into that. We're going to let that run down just like that. Now we're going to spray the inside of our pistol grip right inside of here Any piece that moves, we're going to make sure that we spray that as well. So you see the trigger bar. See the trigger bar moving. We're going to spray everything inside of there as well. We're going to cock the hammer back and spray inside of there. Make sure you get behind the hammer as well. Okay, and now we're going to set that down and let it set for a second. All right, next we're going to move back onto our small pieces. So we're going to come over here and we're going to take our cleaning rag. As long as there's not any carbon left behind, anything that you need to scrape, then we're going to just take your cleaning rag to it, and then that'll be just fine. This just needs a quick wipe down. This doesn't need anything. This doesn't need a whole lot of TLC, because these parts don't really get that dirty when you're shooting. Even after you fired 1,000 rounds, just a little bit of solvent, a little bit of CLP, and this stuff will come right off, and you can just wipe it right off with your cleaning rag or whatever you got. Okay, now that's done. We're going to move on to the next piece. Okay, so we're going to take a little bit more solvent right here. And we'll grab our brush. Now that that's done, we can put this cleaning rag right here to that crevice. And just like that, brand new. Next is going to be the very tiny spring for the slide release. And once again, really make sure you keep your eyes on this. You really don't want to lose this piece. This is, like I said, I cannot put an emphasis on how small this spring is. Okay, now that's cleaned off, we're going to go ahead and get our guide rod, and we're going to take our cleaning rag to that. Now, I will say your guide rod and your spring do tend to get more dirty after shooting. So that is something to keep in mind as well. That it is going to need a little bit more TLC. Nothing you can't solve with a couple of passes with solvents or CLP, or if you got some hops or anything like that. Whatever brand you're using, it doesn't matter. As long as you're using the right stuff. Okay. All right. And now that that's done, we can set that to the side, and we're going to take get a little bit more solvent and take that to our spring. And you want to use your hand to help spread the solvents on the spring. Okay. All right. And now that's done, we can go ahead and reattach that to our guide rod. Just like that. Next, we're going to take our brush and we're going to grab this piece right here. I'm sorry, again, I do not know the name of this piece. I do know that the guide rod / spring sits on this, but I unfortunately do not know the names of every small piece of every firearm there is, so I do apologize for that. All right. Now that that's done, we're going to take our cleaning rag and wipe it down. All right, not too dirty, not too bad at all. So we'll go ahead and set that down to the side. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to take our bore brush and we're going to go run through our barrel. And you want to make sure that when you're going through your barrel that you are entering and exiting the same way that a round would leave out of it, because if we were to go the other way, we're going to be pushing all the carbon, all that lead, everything that's left behind. We're going to be pushing that back towards the entrance of the chamber of our fire, or of our barrel, and we don't want that. So we're going to push it out the other way. And then now, of course, if you can twist it in combination, if you can twist that in combination with your brush, then that would be most ideal. Yeah, look how filthy that is. And then when you're done with that, you're going to take your bristles and you're going to run them along your cleaning rag, because you want to keep your cleaning tool clean as well. It doesn't do any good if you're just spreading a mess. Okay. Let's take a look inside this barrel. So this needs a little bit more cleaning for sure. The entrance does. Okay, let's run that through a few more times. All right, just 1 second. Okay, and now that that's done, we're going to go ahead and grab some applicators as well, which is just firearm Q-tips. And we're going to go into these little small areas that we're not able to reach with the cleaning rag. So like right in here, for example. And we're going to do a few passes. We're going to do a few passes through there. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay. And now that that is done, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take our cleaning rag to our barrel, or I'm sorry, our slide, correction. And you want to try to just get as much as you can with your cleaning rag. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, because we're not getting into those small areas yet. We're just getting into the large areas that we can reach with our fingers or our hands. And then we'll go through with our Q-tips, and then we'll go through and get in the smaller places after that. This saves us some time by taking our cleaning rag and going through into the larger areas as well. Okay, so where our firing pin is going to need a little bit more solvent and a little bit more TLC, but you do get the idea. We're going to go ahead and spray that actually while we're waiting. And we want to make sure that we clean out our extractor as well. So our extractor is going to be this black piece, this little black bar right here, and you can actually put some pressure on it and it'll come out. And there's a little tooth, so that grabs onto the brass and flings it out. So you'll be able to take a Q-tip and then go into there behind the hook and clean that out. So let's go ahead and get that behind the extractor. All All right, look how filthy that is. I'm going to get it to focus. There we go. Okay, so we're going to take a little bit more solvent. We're going to do another pass through. We'll take our cleaning rag and clean the face of that. And as you're going along, if you get some oil or solvent or anything on your firearm, just you can take your cleaning rag and brush along and get that stuff off. Or you can wait until the end and get a silicone cloth and use that for your finisher on your firearm. Make it look nice and pretty. Okay. All right. And now that that's done, we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to our trigger housing group. We're going to take some applicators and get into these little small, finer areas. Okay, we got that. And you want to make sure that you're getting down deeper into the holes and where all the springs and stuff set. If you need to spray more solvent on it or CLP, that's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with doing multiple passes on your firearm to make sure, just making sure that it's clean. Okay. Now that we got that sprayed in there, we're going to take our applicators again and we're going to go back through into the smaller areas to make sure that it's clean. Get any residue out of there. Okay. And now that we've gotten into these smaller, finer areas, we're going to go ahead and take our cleaning rag and do one more wipe through, one more wipe down on the weapon. Okay. And now we're going to go ahead and reassemble our Beretta 92 FS. So we're going to start with the small pieces. So let's go ahead and grab our spring. Fit that into the small, we're going to fit this into the small hole right here. Make sure you hold those pieces together and go ahead and line this up. The spring is going to go into the small hole on the right, and then the larger hole is going to be for the lever. There we go. Okay, keep some pressure on that. Now that we have the button in there, let's go ahead and grab our slide lock lever. Push that back in. All right, we got the flip down 90 degrees. Next, we're going to go ahead and put this piece back onto our barrel, which goes in like this. It goes in from this way, or you can do it from the right. Left or right side, it doesn't really matter. All right, just 1 second. Okay, and now that that piece is back on, we're going to go ahead And we're going to put our barrel back into our slide. You want to make sure that this piece is facing down. This is what it'll look like at the top when it's flush. Just like that. Now you're going to take your guide rod and your spring and make sure that you're keeping really good pressure on this. You don't want to lose control of this. Your guide rod will fly away from you if you don't slide it on correctly the first time. Okay, and this is what it'll look like when it's setting in place. Now we're going to go ahead and slide put our slide back on. And we're going to rack this to the rear. We're going to flip this lever, let it go, put it on safe, and there you go. Now you have completely disassembled, cleaned, and reassembled your Beretta 92FS. The only thing that we're missing now is our functions check. So let's go ahead and get right into that. So we have our safety on, pull it, nothing should happen. Flip it. We go. If you want to cock the hammer, you can to check the hammer. That's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but you don't have to do that if you don't want to. It is a double action, single action pistol. So regardless of what we do, we can pull the trigger for a longer draw, or we can pull the hammer back for a much more smooth wall. So now that we've checked the trigger, we're going to go ahead and hold the trigger down, rack the slide while holding the trigger down, let it go, let go of the slide, and now we're going to let go of the trigger for a soft clunk noise. Okay, and then now we're going to check the trigger again, and we're going to reset our firing pin, and we're going to go ahead and put our weapon on safe. And there you go. That is how you disassemble, clean, reassemble, and perform a functions check on your Beretta 92FS pistol. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, please leave a comment, subscribe, and share. Any commentary that you guys have, any likes, anything that you guys share with the video is going to help with the algorithm on YouTube. It's going to help me get more exposure. It's going to help other people out there who need this knowledge. And thank you so much for joining. I hope you all have a wonderful day.